What if I told you that inside you, right this second, there's this incredible command center running the whole show, sending millions of messages every single second? Well, today we're going to dive into that amazing world of control and coordination and find out how everything, from you to a little plant, reacts to the world around it.
All right, let's start with a really simple question. Have you ever been so hungry that just the thought of a delicious pizza makes your mouth start to water? I mean, you didn't actually tell your body to do that, right? It just kind of happened. And that is a perfect example of the automatic control systems we're going to explore today. So, first up, why is all this control and coordination stuff so important anyway? Well, it turns out that for any living thing to survive, whether it's a tiny plant or a huge animal, it absolutely has to be able to respond to changes in its environment. It's basically the #1 rule for staying alive. Think about it. Every single thing you see an animal do is a super controlled reaction. A cat doesn't just run around for fun, it's probably spotted a mouse. And you don't just yank your hand away from a hot pan, you do it because you felt that intense heat. It's this link, between an event and the right kind of movement. That is the whole secret behind control.
Now, movement isn't all the same. There are really two big kinds. On one side, you've got movement that's all about growing, like a tiny little seed pushing its way up through the dirt. But then on the other side, you've got movement that has absolutely nothing to do with growth, like kids playing on swings. Both are responses for sure, but they work in totally different ways.
So, how in the world do animals pull off those super fast movements, the ones that aren't about growth? Well, the secret is this incredible, high-speed network that works faster than you could even blink.
And that network is called the nervous system. Honestly, you can just think of it like the body's own private internet. It's made of billions of tiny special cells called neurons, and it just zaps electrical messages from one part of the body to another at mind-blowing speeds. It's what allows for almost instant communication.
So, how does a message actually travel? It's kind of like a super fast relay race. Okay, so first, a receptor, maybe in your finger, detects something like heat. This kicks off an electrical impulse that just zips down the first nerve cell at over 250 miles an hour. That's faster than a race car. When it gets to the end, it has to pass the baton, right? It does this by releasing these special chemicals across a tiny, tiny gap called a synapse. The next cell grabs those chemicals and bam, a new impulse is off and running. But here's the catch. While our nervous system lets us do amazing things like think, that whole thinking process actually takes time. I mean, it involves tons of these messages bouncing between all these different neurons. And in an emergency, like when you touch that hot stove, you just don't have time to sit and think about it. And because of that, the body has this brilliant little shortcut just for emergencies. It's called the reflex arc. So instead of sending the "ouch, that's hot" message all the way to the brain, and then waiting for the brain to figure things out and send a message back, the signal takes a detour. It goes straight to the spinal cord, which immediately shoots a signal back to your muscles to pull away. Your brain finds out about it, sure, but by then, your hand is already out of harm's way. So cool, right? Okay, but what about all the stuff that isn't a reflex? For all the complex decisions, thoughts, and feelings, we need to go to the main headquarters, the brain. You can kind of think of the brain as having 3 main departments. First, there's the forebrain. That's your thinking center. It's what you use to solve a math problem or recognize a smell from your childhood. Then you have the midbrain, which handles all the involuntary stuff you don't even think about, like your pupils getting smaller in bright light. And finally, there's the hindbrain. This guy is in charge of balance and coordination. It's what lets you ride a bike without even thinking about how to balance. So we've seen that animals have this incredible high-speed nervous system. But what about plants? They can't run away from things, and they definitely don't have a brain. So how on earth do they manage to respond to the world at all? Well, the answer is actually pretty clever. Turns out, plants have 2 main tricks up their sleeves. Some, like the touch-me-not plant, can move almost instantly. When you touch it, it's not actually growing. It's using this cool trick where it rapidly changes the water pressure in its cells, and that makes its leaves fold up. But other plants move really, really slowly, like when they bend toward a sunny window. That movement is actual growth, and it's directed by a special chemical messenger called a hormone. And that brings us to our second incredible communication system, one that's used by both plants and animals. If the nervous system is like sending a direct text message to one person, this next system is more like sending out a broadcast announcement to everybody at once.
This is the endocrine system, and it uses those chemical messengers we just mentioned called hormones. So instead of electrical zaps, special glands just release these chemicals right into the bloodstream. From there, they travel all over the body, carrying instructions that can cause huge changes in lots of different places all at the same time. It's a bit slower for sure, but its reach is way, way bigger. A perfect example of this in action is the fight or flight response. If something really spooks you, your adrenal glands release a hormone called adrenaline, and then suddenly your heart is pounding, you're breathing faster, and blood gets rushed to your big muscles. Your entire body is instantly prepped for action, all thanks to that one powerful chemical message.
But hormones aren't just for emergencies. Not at all. They're also the quiet managers working behind the scenes every single day. Growth hormone is what tells your body how to grow up. And another hormone, called insulin, carefully manages your blood sugar to keep everything perfectly in balance. So there you have it, this incredible team of two systems working together perfectly. You've got the lightning-fast nervous system for all the urgent texts and quick actions, and then you have the slower, widespread endocrine system for managing the whole body and taking care of long-term projects like growth. It's just an amazing command center. So, after hearing all that, what's the one thing about this incredible internal network that amazed you the most?